Call this meeting of the Cartersville City Council to order. Council members, when you make sure all your microphones are on. And we will start with an invocation this morning from Ms. Diane, and we'll have the pledge by Mr. Jace. Stand with me, please.
Please bow your heads. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you for December the 1st, leading us into the season that is so special to all of us. Lead and guide this city council as we make decisions today. All this we ask in the holy and precious name.
Amen.
Amen. Join me in the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Keeling, the roll, please.
Carrie Hodge, Ward 1. Jay Stepp, Ward 2. Louis Tonsfire, Ward 3.
Here.
Lindsay McDaniel, Ward 4.
Here.
Diane Tate, Ward 5.
Here.
Lori Pruitt, Ward 6. Here.
Thank you, Connie. Our first agenda item is the council meeting minutes from our November 17th meeting. Council's had these well in advance of tonight. Chair will entertain any additions, edits, corrections, or motions.
Didn't see any additions or corrections. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved unanimously. We have two second readings of ordinances, both pertaining to our amendment to the alcohol ordinance. Mr. Menino.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As you noted, Mayor, this is the second reading. There have been no additions or changes since the first reading. The first item is related to Sunday sales of package sales of alcohol. As you're aware, there was a favorable local vote on that after the state law had changed on the issue. Alcohol Control Board does recommend amending the ordinance to allow for the Sunday sales of packaged alcohol.
Okay. And just as a point of clarification, once that is signed, that would go into effect, which would be this Sunday.
Yes, this Sunday would be the first opportunity for that to be legal in Cartersville.
And they don't have to come in and do anything.
That
They
is
just start
correct. They
selling.
have a legitimate package license they can do.
Okay. Thank you, Randy. Any discussion on this item? And if there's none, the chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item, please, sir.
Again, this is also a second reading. There have been no additions or changes since the first reading. At the last meeting, I explained a request by a citizen to amend the alcohol ordinance to allow for the sale of growlers. Growlers is a concept where draft beer can be sold in package outlets. It's sealed, and they're able to take it with them, take it out. I compared it to basically like a grocery store selling fresh fruit or canned fruit. I mean, it's just another concept for selling a product. Alcohol Control Board did recommend approval of this amendment to the ordinance.
Thank you for making the distinction that this is at package stores, not at
That is correct.
Food hours.
It is not where it can be served and take with you. It is for a package concept, yes.
Thank you. Any discussion or questions on this item? And if there are none, the chair will entertain a motion.
Motion for approval.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're good. Motion carries unanimously. We do have, Dan, Mr. Porter, you got the next item, please, sir.
Yes, Mayor. This is a health insurance renewal for our employees. This is for active employees, not for retirees that you came up at the recent meeting. United Healthcare is the provider we've been using for 2011. We switched to them beginning of January this year. This is we looked at companies for renewals going into next year. The best recommendation we have is United Healthcare. The discussion we had at the council work session was the 1512 contract, being claims that we potentially have outstanding from October through December of this year will be covered into next year under the 1512 proposal. So what I hand out at the work session, I'll provide that new set of numbers. The additional cost that was over and above what was presented in the work session and the handout is $20,437. Basically, the stop loss premium under the 1512 option is $207,489 for the year. The medical administration cost stays the same, $184,706. potential claims liability goes, potential up to $3.9 million. But the recommendation, brought forward this morning would be to provide the 1512 contract with United Healthcare, and the underwriter for the 1512 is also ACT Life. So if you put that in your recommendation to approve the renewal with United Healthcare and ACT Life as reinsurer carrier.
Okay. Any questions from,
Yeah, I know we've kind of been discussing it from the bigger picture, but relative to our employees, is it the same coverage?
It's the exact same coverage, no changes in the benefit package, the co-pays, the doctors will remain the same, the deductibles will remain the same as well. And also, one thing I may have pointed out, that, it was a 7% increase over the initial net set of numbers, and in the budget situation, there was money to cover that 100% from the city standpoint, rather than passing, in the past, we've kind of also probably where the employee picks up 7% of that cost increase. The recommendation put forth would be that the city just picks up 7% cost increase that was presented on the bill, at 100% of that 7% increase.
So they'll essentially get the same thing.
The employees will not have to experience a premium increase that they're currently paying if that's approved by the city council.
Did we not discuss an amendment that council members could be included?
we had a discussion about that, and that would, if council chooses to do that, then they would need to be included as part of the motion as well.
Dan, I have a question. In some of the information you gave us here, some of the early proposals for the contract were astonishing percentage increases. Is that pretty typical across the United States? What does that have to do with?
They look at, we try to provide them updated information, so the numbers change as the more, we go further on into the calendar year, so they look at those set of numbers. But they also start out with a set of numbers, kind of like negotiating with cars. They start out with a set of numbers, and then we start negotiating and trying to bring the cost down. The renewal number is accepted.
But like if you talk to a typical college, Georgia Highlands here in town, and do you think their increased percentage proposals would be in the same kind of?
Based on, because they look at your own set of data, they look at your claims cost, so it varies from company to company. It's hard to say from one to another.
But everyone's is going up.
For the most part, unless they're all getting healthier, their insurance premium is going to go up. The insurance company goes up every year, yes. Typically with the medical admin cost, we actually, when we negotiated last year going into it, we got them to set the premium at an acceptable level. They can only go up a small percentage every year in the medical administration cost, which is just them processing the claim.
But Diane, just to piggyback off that, being in the medical field, everybody asks you, well, what's an average plan? What's an average rate? Dan pretty much answered that. There isn't one. You can do a national, but it's all based off demographics and claims. So if you have, truth be told, if you had 10 25-year-old males, they're getting a much better rate than 10 55-year-old males. But if those 10 25-year-old males have claims and the 10 55-year-old males don't, then the rates change as well. So there's it's very specific to small groups a lot of times that you're pulled in with other carriers, with other clients throughout the nation, and that way they can spread the risk out. But yes, it's specific to SIC code and demographics with claims is what it is.
Question. This tells me that the Bureau of Labor Statistics are not even considered. For example, 6-month period, everybody in the industry, you name it, is going by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which might be 4%. The insurance companies can figure out, just like Jake just said, and then charge more.
Yeah, it's based on our own information. Our retiree insurance plan that the city council recently approved, they actually pull us into a larger pool of employee base. Mm-hmm. But we are a self-insured plan, so they look at our specific claims and see what our potential liability is going to be based on our current claims data. And it really just, it changes year to year. And so, yes, we're not we cannot be pulled into Bureau of Labor statistics or anything of that nature.
I guess that's why, before I retired, the councils always told us that don't get married to any one insurance company. I believe that.
Well, we shop it around. I mean, the broker we use shops around every year. And we look at the different things and try to provide the best coverage we can. And you can't change year to year. It's not good to change insurance providers because they're eventually going to pick up and they're going to put quoting on you if you change from one company to the next every year. So by us staying with UHC for another year, it provides stability and provides employee stability, knowing that they're still going to have the same doctors in the network and everything coverage-wise.
Mayor, another question.
Go right ahead.
Dan, in the work session, I told you I wasn't familiar with that laser kind of an add-on. When they're doing the demographics of an organization, is a catastrophic client included in the demographics, or does the laser take that completely out?
Well, HTC Life, who reinsures those large claims, they look at that information. They look at the high claims, and that's why they look at the treatment of that individual. They do that across the board on those higher risk claims, and that's why they pulled this one out and said there's potential greater liability in that one individual.
Any other questions or discussion?
Just one small, this just popped in my head. Only if condition requires treatment. That laser is just on that one condition?
It's on that one individual if they require that particular, there's a cancer patient.
So if that cancer patient ends up having a heart attack and it's $200,000, do we pay the $200,000?
That's a good question. I believe it's really tied to the patients, and so yes, it would be that much. But
So it's really not just for the condition, if the condition requires it, it's basically if that patient requires it.
correct, and
Okay.
it's, like I said, right, it's a cancer patient, it's in remission.
Yep.
The 200,000, is that his max?
That's what the city within our plan design that we're in the max on to 200,000. After that, the reinsurer picks up if the cost goes up above that.
Any other questions or discussion?
Dan, I know a lot of hard work went into this, and I know it takes a long time, so thank you.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the United Healthcare Insurance with the 1512 reinsurance plan and the HCC Life, and extend the benefits to active council members and their families at their option.
Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? Okay, motion carries unanimously. The next item, Dan, is, continue on, please.
Yes, Mayor, we provide our employees an opportunity to, for voluntary cancer and accident policy, and it's been through AFLAC in the past. Our broker has provided us with a different policy coverage for the employees. Again, this is something the employees have a choice in. They decide they want to have this coverage. Unum is the provider that we're looking at for group critical illness with cancer rider. Comparing the benefits are fairly similar across the board. I mean, within any benefit package, there's always caveats each way. But again, the benefit level is fairly similar, but the cost is about 40 to 50% cheaper than the AFLAC product. And I recommend the approval that we allow the employees opportunity to purchase Unum at their discretion at 100% of the employee's cost for 2012.
Okay, discussion on this item. And if there's none, then the chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Dan. Ed, come on up and tell us about your grit business.
Mayor, council, we have one of the two grit collectors at the wastewater treatment plant is in need of replacement. Bids were received from 3 different contractors for doing the work to remove and install this equipment, and quotes were received from 3 different vendors for the equipment. The lowest combination price is with the option of going with A&D Contracting, supplying the labor plus 57% of materials for a price of $40,275, and Allied Industries supplying the remainder of the materials at a price of $10,990.48. approval of this contract with A&D Contracting and Allied Industries. The E-Verify and Save documentation is in hand, and this will be paid for out of the budget.
Okay. Any questions for Ed on this?
Mayor, I have one. Ed, we don't get many split out kind of bids like this.
Part of this came about because it's proprietary equipment, and the vendor of the equipment had a problem with supplying us with the proper E-Verify and Save documentation. So that's how this arrangement came up for that contractor to purchase that proprietary equipment. So it's sort of an unusual thing, but this is the lowest cost.
Okay. If there are no other questions, Chair will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the split award to A&D Contracting and Allied Industries.
Second?
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. Before we get to the last item, we do have 4 items to add. Ed, why don't you stay up here, we'll do yours first since you're already up. With council's permission, I'll take a motion to add those 4 items.
Motion to add.
Can you second that? Okay, all in favor? And the items are added. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about the 2 items you have there, Mr.
Right,
Mullinax?
the first item is for installation of a pipeline project. The water surface area on South Indian Mounds Road is currently served by a very old 2-inch diameter galvanized line, which is in very deteriorated condition. We've been having a problem that has developed where the bow and arrow mobile pump there will lose pressure and flow at times during peak demand. So the water department designed an emergency 8-inch water main replacement that would originate at Glen Cove Road and extend up to the entrance of the mobile home park. Bids were received from 3 different contractors for installing this work. C&L Contractors of Dallas, Georgia submitted the low bid in the amount of $26,101. This will be paid for from the budget, but will be reimbursed at a later time with a bond issue. We do have the E-Verify and Save documentation in there. Then the second part of this, the purchase of the materials, we received quotes for the material from 5 different vendors. Prices ranged from $99,639.65 to a high of $109,104.31. We recommend going with the low price submitted by HD Supply Waterworks in the amount of $99,639.65. Again, this will be paid for from the budget, will be reimbursed at a later date with a bond issue. We do have the E-Verify and Save documentation. One other item I didn't mention before, this will have the added benefit of providing fire protection in this area, which currently does not have that.
What size is the line that, I'm guessing there's one between Glen Cove and Old Mill?
That's an old line too, that's on slate to be replaced.
So what size is
Glen
that?
Cove going back to Old Mill, it ranges in places, it's a section of 4-inch diameter, 6-inch, 8-inch. We have a 12-inch line that comes through Waterford, through Dillinger Park, ties into the water line.
I'm assuming that the bond issue that you're talking about is the one that's going to get the line coming down Etowah?
Right.
Do we need to look at going ahead and replacing the line between Glen Cove and Old Mill when we do that?
We had to pick the most critical projects for the year. This one, we've had problems out here before, but this suddenly became critical. We don't know if there's a leak in the line, that's why now the service is dropped. But basically, we just had to prioritize what we thought were the most critical projects.
Are you designing the Etowah line?
That's currently in the design, and
Take a look at the gap between those two and let me know about how much more additional?
That would be a good idea, because
That makes sense.
we're on slate to correct the problem on Etowah Drive from Old Mill
Yeah.
back to West Avenue, so it would make sense to go
If
ahead.
you're gonna do a bond issue, just throw the whole thing in there if the cost is right. Thank you.
We'll look.
Ed, we don't have in front of us, where is HD Supply located? Where are they out of? Do you know?
HC Supplies Home Depot, isn't
Is it Home Depot?
Yeah.
Okay,
it? It's an affiliate of Home Depot.
Yes,
thank you.
the particular, this one's out of Kennesaw. It's HD Supply Water Works at Kennesaw. This is the supply house that would be providing this material.
Is it Home Depot?
Yes.
Oh.
You're right.
Suit and tie and smart today.
Move more meetings to the morning. All right, we've got two items up for consideration, council. You can do that in one motion if you so choose.
Mayor, make a motion to approve
Second.
All right, just out of clarification, you make a motion to approve
for
what?
both items.
Thank you. And you second both items? Thank you. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Both items are approved. Thank you, Ed.
When will that work start?
The contractor is, the low bidder, has gone ahead and called in a locate, so he has to, the utilities will have to be located, it'll be a 3-day lag there, and then there'll be the delivery of materials. He hopes to have the line in service by Christmas. That was one of the things we were pushing for.
That's good.
This is gonna involve laying water line down a leg of the walking trail on Indian Mountains Road, the Dillinger Park walking trail. But the contractor believes he can get that in and restored in a 2-day period, so there will be an inconvenience to walkers and runners in the park.
Is that the first you've heard of that, Greg?
No, sir, I'm aware of that.
Okay.
Thank you, Ed. Ms. Keeling, if you'll handle the next item, the resolution, please.
Yes, Mayor. Due to the passing of Michael Dean, there will need to be an election to fill the vacancy on the school board, Ward 1. Time constraints from the Secretary of State's office require that this resolution be passed and published in the paper no later than 90 days prior to the presidential preference primary on March 6th, which means it has to be in the paper by December 6th. So I'm asking that you approve this resolution so we can get that going. I do want to note too that because of time constraints in this, qualifying is going to be a shorter period. It's only going to be 3 days. It's going to start December the 12th and it will end December the 14th. So that's a critical bit of information.
This is a special election?
Yes, sir. It is a special election.
Do we have any idea what that costs?
No, sir. I don't have that cost in front of me.
But it's gonna be held on the same day as the presidential primary.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I would
So
think,
that'll fold in.
I would think it would be a little less than
in the
last
12th through the
election.
14th, I'm sorry, I'm lazy. Is it a
December the
Is it a Wednesday through a?
Monday through Wednesday.
Monday through Wednesday? Thank you. All right, and they can sign up to qualify at your
At
office,
my
correct?
office, yes, sir. 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m.
Gotta live in Ward 1, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Very good. All right, so we have that resolution. Council, what do you want to do with that?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr. Elliott. No good deed goes unpunished.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Mayor, members of council. First, I'll apologize for bringing this add-on item so late, but we've, since our newsletter has gone out on recycling, we've had quite a healthy response from folks to sign up. Back at the last meeting, Mayor and Council approved the initial order of our containers, 1,000 35-gallon containers and 265-gallon containers. The 65-gallons were just infill containers if folks need bigger ones. That initial order would accommodate like 500 customers. Well, I've got 350 on the list right now. And we're not slated to start the program until the week of February 6th. I'm afraid we're going to not have enough containers to supply that. Therefore, the request is to add an additional 1,000 containers onto that initial order. The low bidder, Auto USA, has agreed to honor the price. And and we can go ahead and run these at the same time as the initial order. So it's an additional $35,650 for the add-on. It's budgeted, E-Verify and Save are in place. I'm just afraid that I don't want to get caught without.
Very good. Well, good problem to have. People are going to participate in this. And of course, the benefit to that is it'll reduce our landfill costs
Yes.
as well. So, all right. Go ahead.
Quick question. I know that when we set this up, the small fee that we were charging was going to basically run this whole project, right?
Yes, I'll be bringing to council at the next meeting for the first reading, it's a $2 increase across the board for all residential customers and all commercial Kirby customers to fund the program.
And even with these additional containers, we still have enough money?
Yes.
Okay.
And the containers will be provided at no charge.
Awesome.
And people can sign up for that program. Of course, everybody got a flyer.
Everybody got a
I think
flyer.
we should have
We've
anyway.
had a little quirk, I think, with our link on our website. I think it's now working. They can call our office, 7703-875-602, or they can access the link to the website to get on the list. And I'm adding them every day.
So
Very
you
good.
can sign up on the website?
Yes.
All right, great.
Very good. All right. Any further discussion or comments, questions? If not, motions.
Make a motion to approve, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
All right. Somewhere, Lori made the motion. Who wants to second it?
Who made the motion?
I will.
Thank you. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Bobby. All right, our final item on the agenda is discussion item, an appeal of an appeal by Ms. Cabanas, Tarasco's Tacos and Wings. If you'd like to step forward, please, and even though I've already introduced you, please state your name and your address for our clerk, please, Ms. Cabanas.
Vanessa Cabanas, and our address is 1350 Jeffrey Harris Parkway in Cartersville.
Okay?
I'm just here to ask that you guys would please reconsider the length of our probation, 3 years, and possibly consider taking it down to the 1 year. I'm here to see if we can get it reduced.
Okay.
Question, which is the most critical to you, the fine or the probation?
Honestly, both of them are very critical. I just thought I would have a better chance of getting the probation reduced. Both of them are very critical to us. The fine was, very high, so, we did have some difficulties making sure that was paid, but it was paid. So I just felt that getting the reduction in the probation would probably be a lot easier than
The fine?
doing the fine.
Well, in the work session, we don't make decisions in work sessions, but the discussion, the question was, I guess, kind of a consensus from the council members was you came before the Alcohol Control Board and had the decision, then came before us and had the decision. There's some different information or something else that you wanted to add to what's already been presented that would,
Well, there was just 2 other cases that came into the appeal as well, and they were, their probation was reduced. In my opinion, I feel that all 3 of us, I know each case is different, we all did the same thing. Each one of us sold to someone underage, and I just feel like, it would be fair that we could have the same punishment, at least for the probation as they did. They did the same thing, so I guess I'm just asking that they would consider the same punishment, at least for the probation that they did for the other 2 that were appealed.
Mayor, I have a question. You and I had a nice talk about this, and I know you talked to the other council members too. Remind me, you have how many locations?
We have
3. 1 in Canton,
3, and then 2 in Cartersville,
2 in
1 on
Cartersville.
Cassville Road, and then the 1 on Joe Frank Harris.
is this your first violation at any of the 3?
Yes, ma'am.
You've never had one in Cherokee
Never.
County?
We haven't had any issues. And and I'm sure that we'll be more under the radar, which is fine, because there shouldn't be another issue, but just the other day, I know an officer came in, he wasn't dressed, and asked for a beer, and our manager said sorry. Obviously, he was probably looked old enough, but he said, I'm sorry, I can't serve it to you without your ID, and he said, well, it's in the car. And he said, I'm sorry. He said, you'll have to go get it or we won't be able to serve you. And he went to the car, and he did not know at the time it was an officer. And he went to the car and he brought his ID and he opened it up and it was his badge with his ID in it. He said, good job. He said, so, I mean, we know that we're going to be under the radar, and we serve 2 police officers on a regular basis. So it's not something that we would normally practice. You know, it was an accident and it should not happen again.
You and I talked about this. Are your servers wearing their ID badges? That's a good idea.
And if I recall, the situation was you guys were on vacation, and it was, is it a brother that's the
Well,
manager?
we had, my brother-in-law was managing it when we opened it, and then he went to Arizona. He moved to Arizona to be with his kids, and we had hired a new manager who was a manager at another restaurant here in town at the bar. So with him being a manager at a bar, we felt like he would be a good fit for us. He was only there for a couple months, and we did let him go because of this situation, as well as we did the lady who served to the person that was underage. I mean, we were on vacation, but that shouldn't have played a factor because the manager should have been able to handle whatever we couldn't handle.
Well, that's good new information. So you, the person that was in control when you guys were on vacation is no longer
He's
there.
not there anymore, and my brother-in-law's actually back. And he's just been in the business for so long, and he's related, so it just, we feel a lot safer with him being.
So he is now managing?
He is there now.
Okay.
He came back about 2 months ago. So.
One thing that stirs me, if this is the same case, when the beer was sold to the underage person, this person came in, bought the beer, set it on the counter, went outside, got on his cell phone and called the GBI. Is this the same situation?
No, this was different.
This is different? Okay, well, that answers that.
Well, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion if you want,
This
and just
is-
throw it
this
out there and
is-
see. You know, originally, you know, as a council, I think, you know, once it's seen a couple times and there's an appeal and we make a decision, you know, I think that we should, you know, stick with that decision unless there's always additional information. To me, I thought your case was different originally because you guys were on vacation. It seemed very loose as to what was going on in the structure, and that was the reason your fine and probation period was a little bit longer in my book.
And I apologize, I was very nervous when I came up here. I do not like to speak in front of a crowd, so I just wasn't, I guess I didn't know what to expect,
Yeah.
and I wasn't prepared, and I didn't come across the way that I wanted to.
Well, the new information about having a proper manager back, and the fact that you now see how important it is to have the manager making sure that all the employees are doing the right things. The mayor had a great idea. I'm going to throw this out as a motion. I'd like to make a motion to reduce your probation period from 3 to 1 year, and give you a payment option on the $2,500 of, I don't know if, at this point, if I should say what that is or just give them a payment option.
I think you need to say what it is.
Okay, I'd say a payment option, it's $2,500. I give it three equal payments. So that would be, I'm sorry, to clear up my motion, to reduce the probationary period to 1 year as opposed to 3, and to give her a payment option of 3 equal payments for the $2,500.
What time frame?
Yeah,
Three.
what do they do?
3 months, 3 equal months,
3 equal payments.
3 payments.
All
I
right.
want to include in that motion, since the payment has already been made,
Yeah,
there needs to be
refund.
some authority to refund the payment that she's made.
Okay.
And pay us back, yeah.
Here we go. I'm going to make a motion to reduce the probationary period from 3 years to 1 year, to give authority to refund the $2,500 and then in turn have 3 monthly equal payments to pay back up the $2,500.
Am I allowed to interject on a motion? I beg pardon, am I allowed to interject on a motion?
If it's okay with him.
Well, you're the man.
Well, I keep on hearing that. Mr. Stepp, would you be agreeable, since it's already been paid, and we've already had a length of period for that, my suggestion would be on your motion, if you would choose to alter it, would be to rebate the 2/3 of the payment, since she's already paid that. We rebate those two, and that would be then 2 monthly payments of approximately $833.33.
Can we try this one more time?
Try it 3 more times.
All right.
I don't know if you'll get a second, but go ahead.
Hey, wait, this is the third time he's done it, isn't it? I mean, you only get 3 chances. Isn't that the rule?
Yeah.
Don't you get a mulligan?
Yeah, fall through the floor.
Go ahead.
I'm going to try it one more time.
That's 4 times.
I want to reduce the probation period from 3 years to 1 year.
Okay.
The fine will stay at $2,500. 1/3 of that will stay with the city. We'll refund you 2/3 of that and expect 2 equal payments monthly to pay up the $2,500,
Starting in January.
starting January the 1st.
All right, so one payment is going to be due January 1st, the other one's going to be due February 1st?
Yes.
I guess, why don't we say the 2nd, since January the 1st is a,
Y'all gonna hurt you.
oh, no.
You want me to do this one more time?
No, I don't, really. But what I heard was a motion for 3 years to 1 year, 2 payments due in the beginning of January and February at a total cost of $833.33 per month. If I heard that correctly?
You did.
Is there a second on that motion?
Yes, second.
All right, I have the motion is second. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. All right, any abstaining?
And I'm abstaining.
Thank you, okay. Well, motion carries 4 to 0 to 1.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, any other business that needs to come before council this day? Come on forward, Melinda.
Thank you, Mayor. The Department of Economic Development is hosting a job tax credit seminar coming up on December the 15th from 8 to 9 a.m. at the Chamber of Commerce building. We'll have experts from the Department of Community Affairs, which is the organization that administers job tax credits, but we'll also have a CPA, a friend through the Chamber of Commerce who often works with these credits and businesses who apply for them. So we want to help get the word out. We have a special interest in reminding businesses that are within 2 less developed census tracts. Those are the areas effectively what you just described around Trinity Rail and Mohawk Industries that closed down over the last couple of years. With those closures, we were allowed a special designation. So businesses within those census tracts have a special opportunity to apply for enhanced credits, but that opportunity expires at the end of this calendar year. Thus the reason for the seminar. So interested persons can attend free, but we like the benefit of an RSVP so that we can set up properly. I'd like to give an email address, and that is econdev, E-C-O-N-D-E-V, econdev@locationbartow.com. We have flyers for media in the room, but again, December 15th, 8 to 9 a.m. We're encouraging interested business partners and stakeholders who serve those businesses to attend and learn some good information.
Thank you. Anything else needs to come before council? Ms. Tate?
Yes, sir. Tonight's the Christmas parade, 6 o'clock, and the lighting of the tree is a little bit before that, 5:55 at the depot. And in the words of David Archer, it's one of the world's longest Christmas parades, and we like that in Cartersville.
Well, it's going to be twice, I don't know if I keep people away, but I've heard that it's going to be about twice the size as it was last year, so.
Really?
We shall see. I think the Clydesdales are there, and of course Santa will be there at the end, and a whole lot in between. So it's a great event for the community. Encourage everybody to come out. Christmas tree lighting and the parade right there afterwards. And of course, the Christmas tree lighting program is starts at 5.
No, forward, huh?
Four.
Four?
I think 46.
Holy smokes. All right, well, come on at 4.
You'll get your group.
Sure. All right, anything else needs to come before council? Motion to adjourn.
Some of
Adjourn.